This is Bottles.
I'm Mori, and isn't that Edgeworth's coat?
No, Edgeworth's coat is different than that.
It looks very similar.
Yeah.
Striking resemblance.
Yeah, I can see it.
I feel like she might have a thing for Edgeworth.
It's a high prosecutor's office.
High prosecutor.
This is the kind of room that just screams, I can do the job. Quite a change from your office, really.
Thanks.
Look! There's a trophy or something here.
A trophy? What? That shield?
Takes real nerve to display something like this.
Maybe it's not a trophy, maybe it's a clock.
If
If my experience has taught me anything...
It could be a clock.
It could be a murder weapon.
Anything could be a clock.
Could be a murder weapon.
Whoever's office this is, he must be a real stuck-up jerk. Mr. Phoenix Wright, you never tire of prying into other people's business, do you?
That voice. I knew it! That is his... It's kind of...
Yeah.
Long time no see, Edgeworth.
Huh? Ah! Mr. Edgeworth?
The murderer? You know him from somewhere?
Of course! I'm his biggest fan!
Hang on, didn't you talk about the Edgeworth murder case?
Well, yeah. My sister introduced us once, and...
Right. Her sister was chief prosecutor, after all.
Well, what brings you here? I'll warn you, I've been known to be a real stuck-up jerk. No! Did I? No! It was just... Mr. Wright here, he,
Hey, don't blame me!
We're just here to investigate a murder case. Murder?
That sounds like murder. That smells like double murder.
Nutmeg? A body was found in this nasty, bright red sports car in the parking lot.
His car.
That would be mine.
I knew it!
What of it?
Keep something.
Your car?
I'll say one thing. She can certainly scream.
So,
what do you know about this man's ID? You thought I was gonna go for my badge. See, this is baiting.
see, I already showed you my badge last time.
So, the body was found in your car?
Go ahead. Say it right. You think I did it, don't you?
No.
After you went through all that trouble to help me last year, no less. No, we don't think you did it. I mean, it was my sister who stabbed him. Wait, no.
So you admit
she
it.
didn't do that, I mean... Wait. So you're the chief prosecutor's little sister, then? Yes, sir. Emma Skye. It's nice to meet you again.
No, that didn't sound forced at all.
Now I remember. You've really grown. I'll admit it was a surprise to me, too. To think that my own car would become the scene of a murder. More surprising still, now I'm forced to prove my superior's guilt.
And since you just basically admitted to me that you know that she killed him...
That just made my job easier. I could just sit back.
With this recording of you admitting to it. I can understand. Wait, what did you say?
Lana Skye is the chief prosecutor. The top prosecutor in the district.
Was the chief prosecutor. Now I'm acting chief prosecutor.
She can't prosecute herself, so I'll be the prosecutor at the trial tomorrow. You? Mr. Edgeworth?
So you're gonna help me out in the middle of the trial?
No. To be honest, it's a bit of a miracle I'm still here at all.
What do you mean?
Rumors. You've heard the rumors about me, haven't you?
Miles Edgeworth.
Bum, 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 bum.
It's hard to remember a time when there weren't rumors about this guy.
Bum, bum, bum.
Forging evidence, arranging false testimony, illegal searches, you name it.
And murder. Thanks to you, my innocence was established in the trial at the end of last year. However, there are some who say I'm the one responsible for the current incident.
What? That's crazy.
Some people need very little excuse to think ill of others. It's a fact of life, impossible to stop.
But
Some of them even go so far as to present me with toys like this. They think it's funny.
Toys? That bronze shield. There's got to be a story behind that one. Yeah, tell me. Wait, this is my court record. Is it evidence?
it's not the color. It doesn't actually matter. You could probably examine it or something.
Chief Prosecutor Sky? Yes, we first worked together on a case 2 years ago. It was my first big case.
That's right. I remember.
2 years ago. I wasn't even a lawyer yet.
Since then, I always felt that she was looking out for me. It appears I was mistaken.
Mistaken? Why? I mean, I know she's not the warmest person, but I'm sure she felt some responsibility for you.
Then, why? Why did she stab someone in the trunk of my car? Not only that, she stabbed him with my knife. And with my fingerprints, no less.
What? Mr. Edgeworth, your knife was the murder weapon?
Seems a little too convenient for it to be me, huh? Maybe you should just not suspect me at all, To be specific.
She also took my hair.
She took my hair, my fingerprints, and my footprints.
And my semen sample.
And placed them on the scene.
on the body, for some reason.
I guess she really wanted it to be thorough.
Really thorough.
She even took my blood and put it on the murder weapon. To be specific, it was the knife kept in the toolbox in the trunk of my car.
Would be absolutely sure it was me. Edgeworth.
What?
Are you sure you didn't do it? Okay. I'm sorry. Frowny face.
He's like,
Edgeworth will remember that.
He's like, are you fucking...
Come on, can't he take a joke?
You have a strange sense of humor, Mr. Wright.
Which is the right sense of humor.
Ba-bum-bum.
I want to look at that. Where's the trophy?
Oh, it's on the couch.
I've been wondering, what the heck is this?
It has a big K on it.
As in killer?
Prosecutors.
Huh? What's that?
It's the King of Prosecutors trophy.
King of Prosecutors?
It's a great honor. They send that shield to the best prosecutor each year. What? So?
So that K, that's...
K stands for king?
Yes, good, great detective work, guys.
Or Kenji?
That's you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got a problem with that? I didn't design the thing!
King of Prosecutors? Kind of like Employee of the Month, only better.
Why is this... okay? Well, I hope you don't... well, what else is there to look at? I guess nothing else. Why do you have...
Wow! The jacket is even lacier than his usual ones. This must be his lucky trial jacket.
That's the
Lucky
only
jacket.
That's the only jacket
Right.
I ever lost.
I've never seen him wear it.
I'm sure there's a story behind why it's in a frame. Maybe I'll be naughty and take a picture!
He's getting way too excited about this. And I'm surprised he had nothing to say about it.
Why are you looking at my things?
I'm not trying to... I'm trying to examine it.
Bum, 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 bum.
Let's see if I'm right, if it's actually a clock.
Ah,
I see a battery port.
is that a battery port? Hey, check it out! There's a metal plate here!
Looks like the names of all the previous recipients that are engraved in it.
Wow, one guy's listed a bunch of times. Von Karma? I guess he must be a foreigner.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Well, wherever he's from, he must have been an amazing prosecutor. I'd like to meet this Mr. Von Karma sometime.
When she says it, his name does kind of ring a bell to it. Is there any... anything weird about it? What about here? Big cat.
I guess that's it.
Alright.
It's a giant fist. Can we examine that? I guess we can. This must be the victim's blood, right?
Either that or Edgeworth cut himself peeling an apple. That's Edgeworth. What's Edgeworth doing with a knife like this anyway?
Hey, maybe he spends his weekends roughing it in the wild.
Edgeworth? In the wild? I think my fruit peeling theory is more likely.
Are you kidding? I always pictured him as an outdoorsman.
Now, there's a scary thought. I don't think there's anything else to look at with this guy. Is there anything else to talk about? Maybe his knife? No? Okay.
Maybe present things to him? Or we can go investigate the actual crime scene.
Did we... Well, we already spoke to him about that, technically. He gave us the knife. I mean, might as well.
It's against my policy to discuss evidence with the defense, especially with you.
What about with her?
He doesn't... he doesn't like you much, does he, Mr. Wright?
Nah, with Edgeworth, it's never personal. It's all about winning tomorrow. The day after, we'll be best friends again.
You're a fucking cunt, right? You're a fucking cunt. Oh, we can't investigate the crime scene?
No, because,
I guess I roped it off. Give me your lunch.
Could you take a look at this?
You!
Yes?
You said you wanted some hot tea, right?
No, but thanks. You didn't even look at me.
You must have to brew the leaves for a long time to get a rich flavor like this. We pray and infuse the leaves with steam before brewing. I knew it! So that's the secret to their aroma. Exquisite.
The only thing I'm smelling here is wasted time. God damn. Could you take a look at this?
I think it's the same.
Aha, I'm learning.
You did it! You did what
it.
Phoenix Wright constantly says throughout the game. Hold it!
Is there anything we need to talk about with her? Did we check? No. Okay.
What now?
Can we...
Maybe question Edgeworth about some stuff? We didn't
we already spoke to him about everything.
Did we speak to him about the trophy?
I mean, we could try, but, like, he already spoke to us about it.
Maybe we'll get more information.
So, in other words, you were the best of the best this year, huh?
You can take that foolish grin elsewhere, Wright. I lost a day of work to receive that travesty.
Huh? Why's that?
I had to go to the police department ceremony to receive that broken shield.
I love that we can only go to places if we've heard about it. If we heard about it from other people.
Yeah, it's a really restrictive way to live.
Oh right, there's a police department. Yeah, we should go over there.
Yes, right next to the police station downstairs. You've been there, correct?
Where Detective Gumshoe works. Yeah.
I was wondering something about your shield. Why is it broken?
What does it matter? I've got more important things to worry about.
Oh, right.
Yes? He doesn't seem too concerned about his award, for better or for worse.
Yesterday was a very busy day for the prosecutor's office.
Maybe we should ask him more about yesterday?
Aha!
This is why you present everything.
Could you tell me more about yesterday, the day of the murder?
Yesterday was the annual cleaning day at the prosecutor's office.
Annual cleaning?
Cleaning day?
You have your cleaning crew come in once a year?
Working with the police department, we sort and file all evidence for solved cases. We call it evidence transferal.
Sounds like a waste of time. If it's solved, you don't need anything anymore.
Wiping your hands of old cases. In other words...
Oh, and another thing. A ceremony was held at the police department. There's an annual review and awards for outstanding police officers and prosecutors.
And that's when you got the shield.
I was at the police department yesterday afternoon. I got back here at 5:12.
2-3 minutes before the murder. That's very precise.
People like myself and Mr. Edgeworth pride ourselves on our precision, Mr. Wright.
No, I place little faith in my memory. The only thing I trust is solid evidence.
Solid evidence, whether it's made or real.
Real or otherwise.
This is the parking stub from the underground lot.
The murder took place around 5:15.
So the murder happened right after you got back.
What, right? I'd appreciate it if you'd direct that suspicious glare elsewhere. Oh, I love this guy.
Excuse me, but is Mr. Edgeworth, anywhere on the premises?
Great, do I have to defend him too?
I'm Edgeworth. What is it?
I'm here, sir! And the request of the chief, sir! I've got your report, sir!
Report? What? Did you find new evidence in the case against Chief Prosecutor Sky?
I don't like where this conversation's going at all.
Sky.
Sir! No, sir! No name of that kind, sir! Not in this report, sir! Sir!
My name's Edgeworth, not Sir.
Right here, sir!
I think I just heard Edgeworth's lid blow.
Mr. Edgeworth's lid isn't on very tight, is it?
Stop reading my mind.
I made a clear request to the police department, did I not? I need to focus on the trial tomorrow, so don't bring me anything unrelated.
Sir! But sir! I'm just following orders, sir! They told me to bring this to you! I wasn't aware of the particulars of your arrangement with us, sir!
Give me your name.
Oh, shit.
Yes, sir! Meekins, sir! Officer Meekins!
Right. Officer Meekins, take your report and leave. And good luck with that raise next month.
Aw.
But sir, I didn't know!
Poor guy. Looks like he was just absent on the day they gave out brains and good luck. Aw.
Right.
Yes, sir! Ah, he caught me off guard.
As you can see, I'm busy. You may leave now.
We left your office for a second and came back with tea.
We'll get out more.
We came back with tea.
Where did you get that tea from?
That was good.
Can I have some?
That's...
Go get your own.
No, go away.
Where?
Where do I... Yes, there's no store, it's just her giving it out.
Well, let's do what he says, Mr. Wright.
The victim was a detective from the same department as that patrolman just now. Go down to the police department. You can ask more there.
Thanks. He seems to have finally calmed down at least.
Edgeworth is just down there and he's like, I can talk about it here. This is the Edgeworth
Where there are witnesses.
This is the Edgeworth that you can talk to. I'm the Edgeworth that's too busy to deal with your shit.
There's too many Edgeworths to keep track of.
Oh my god.
Police department entrance. We're not even good.
This was just an elaborate plan to get us to leave.
Why do they have a Digimon?
That's the blue badger. Whew! We're finally here. Why would they put the detective so far away from the prosecutor's office?
That took almost 30 minutes by taxi. The traffic wasn't even that bad. This is my first time to the police department, actually. Hold on. What's that? That doesn't look like a badger at all.
Disturbing. Why does it undulate like that?
Oh, wait, I know. This is the blue badger. They're trying to make him the police mascot.
Wow, Mr. Wright. You know a lot about the police department.
And we know that.
Still, he does seem familiar somehow.
Forget the blue badger. Who's that next to him?
Someone appears to be dancing with the blue badger. Uh-oh, he noticed me.
Oh no, is it Hacksaw Noob?
Hacksaw Noob?
He sure is running over here fast.
Hey, pal! What are you doing here?
Why is he dancing?
It's fun.
That's my line, Detective Gumshoe.
I work here.
Specifically, why were you dancing over there?
What?
Well, at least he doesn't seem to be busy. This is our chance to get information.
Hey! I'll have you know I'm a very busy man, pal.
Stop reading my mind. Get out of my head. Leave my brain alone.
Everybody get out of my... What can you tell me about this knife?
Dance some more.
I'll give you one word of advice, pal. You better not agree to defend the suspect in this case.
Why not?
Huh? Well, it's just that the chief prosecutor has confessed to the crime. She says she summoned the detective to the prosecutor's office and she killed him.
But what if she's not telling the truth?
Yes, well, no.
Well,
Come
yes.
on, pal.
Yes, actually, no.
Come on, pal, there's plenty of evidence against her.
But what if the evidence was faked?
Yeah, you do know that Edgeworth has faked evidence.
Hey, pal, can I speak to you for a second?
Huh? Me?
Why is this little girl so peeved at me?
She's a relative of the suspect, Lana Sky's sister.
Whoa! The chief prosecutor's little sister?
Just please investigate this case carefully, okay? Scientifically.
Yes, sir. Oh, by the way, you might want to keep your voices down. You don't want to be overheard using words like faked.
Huh?
So, fabricated?
Forged.
Yeah, we'll go with forged.
Not real.
Made up, imaginary.
Cheating. Terms to get me disbarred from being a lawyer.
It's a sensitive issue with us these days.
So, what are you doing here, Detective Gumshoe?
Me? Oh, well, nothing really. They kicked me out of criminal affairs.
Aw. Detective Gumshoe, what did you do this time?
What do you mean this time?
Then what happened? I know things are busy right now. I mean, with my sister's case and all.
It's true. We've never had a chief prosecutor murder anyone before. Only the
Well, that's not true. Oh, I guess he wasn't a chief prosecutor. I was gonna say Von Karma.
Only the
He was basically chief prosecutor, let's be real here.
He had chief prosecutor energy.
Only the highest ranked people are being let. Take two. Only the highest ranked people are. Take three. Only the highest ranked people are being led into criminal affairs now. Nailed. The lowest ranked guy in there is our chief of detectives. They're not letting any of us rank and file detectives in at all.
None of you?
I know this is an important trial, but isn't that a little odd?
So anyway, I thought I'd spend the day getting the Badger dance down pat.
Okay. I mean...
Is there anything else you could be doing?
The chief of police himself has directed this investigation, pal. And Officer Marshall is assigned to the underground parking lot.
Officer Marshall?
Now that I think about it, Emma did seem to know the Marshall guy.
A patrolman in charge of the crime scene. It's unheard of, pal!
He's not even a detective? He's an officer?
Well, what could you tell me about
My badge.
Well, this guy's badge.
What about this guy's badge?
Detective Gumshoe, what could you tell me about this?
Huh? Hey, pal! This is a detective's ID card! You can't just keep that! You have to turn it in to the police! It's people like you that get me into so much trouble all the time.
Meaning Detective Gumshoe must drop his card a lot.
Let's see. Bruce Goodman. Goodman. Sounds familiar.
Hang on. Wait. I'm feeling this is the logic here. So, a detective gets killed. Yeah. Everybody's all in an uproar about it.
Yeah.
But this is the first time you're hearing of the victim's fucking name.
We never said that he was the victim, did we?
I guess that's true, but like...
Nah, my mistake.
Yeah, we were never told who the victim was, actually.
Yeah.
That's true.
We just kind of assumed he was the victim.
Whoa, now I remember! Bruce Goodman! He's the victim!
Again, like, why wouldn't you remember the name of the victim?
He's not a very good detective.
That's true. That's what I thought.
Can you tell us more, Detective Gumshoe?
No! Go away.
Not at all. Get the fuck. I was only helping you in the last case because it was Edgeworth. Now that Edgeworth's not the suspect anymore, leave. Found in Mr. Edgeworth's car, stabbed with Mr. Edgeworth's knife, huh?
Wait, why did it show the ticket and then the knife?
Because his card.
Oh, okay.
What would drive Chief Prosecutor Scott to do such a thing? Wait, I mean, sure, of course, someone else really did it. Someone who must have a grudge against Mr. Edgeworth.
The car and the knife do seem a little too organized to be a coincidence.
Mr. Edgeworth, what could have happened?
We have to find out a little more about what's going on with Mr. Edgeworth. We never actually checked this.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like no matter what thing we look at, we're gonna have to always zoom in.
Yeah. Miles Edgeworth. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that was a line.
This is dated the day of the crime.
The murder took place 3 minutes after Edgeworth parked his car. If only he was held up at a couple extra red lights, he wouldn't have been caught up in this whole affair.
Perhaps.
It just goes to show you never know what'll happen when you run a yellow light.
What's on the back? A whole lot of nothing.
Very weird parking ticket.
Yeah.
It would just be white on the back.
Or maybe it's carbon paper?
Carbon. What about this?
Hey, that's it! That's the King of Prosecutors Award that Mr. Edgeworth got yesterday. Why do you have it?
Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe?
Of course, pal! I got an award for diligence myself.
Ah, congratulations.
I was wondering, why is the award a shield? And why is it broken?
Oh, there's a reason. I'll tell you what it is later.
Apparently he's forgotten.
But I was proud of Mr. Edgeworth for winning that award. He's even got naysayers in the prosecutor's office.
Yeah, we've heard about the rumors.
Found in Mr. Edgeworth's car, stabbed with Mr. Edgeworth's
Okay,
knife.
so same thing.
Your badge.
Detective, here's my attorney's badge.
He shows to me every time we meet. Real men show their police badge. Enough said.
Damn. His police badge supersedes my attorney's badge.
It's so much bigger. I wish I had a badge. Even an ID card would be nice.
Here you go. Just give her the detective.
Wait, hold on.
He just writes a paper badge.
Hold on, I always miss.
Okay.
He misses one. He has like a dot on his head.
Hold on.
This has chickenpox now.
Okay.
Here you go. Oh wait, we need a photo.
He doesn't have anything to print the photos. He's like, just carry my phone around.
Here, you can have my phone.
Anyway, if you need me, call me.
Call me by this number.
Just walks away. He doesn't even realize it.
Goodbye.
Wait, speaking of ID cards, I found that detective's card, didn't I? I already spoke to him about that, did I not?
Yes. That's how we knew that the victim's name was Goodman. So I guess we're done here? Oh,
we still got
more
we
things.
still got to discuss it more. So this ID card belonged to the victim.
He was detective. He was a detective, like myself. Detective Bruce Goodman.
Don't you think it's strange? I mean, why would the victim's ID card be lying on the ground where we found it?
Well, Detective Goodman should have been at the police department yesterday.
He looks like a main protagonist in a different game.
He does.
He kind of reminds me of Professor Layton, actually.
You know what he kind of reminds me of? If he wore all white, he could pass as Kyle.
Yeah, he could.
Kyle Hyde.
Although I would probably argue if you had like a child between these two, it would be more like Kyle.
Yeah,
Hyde.
yeah.
Man, I miss Kyle now.
Me too.
Damn. Well, Detective Goodman says that it was you. All right.
There was an evidence transfer for a case he handled 2 years ago.
Evidence transfer. Mr. Edgeworth mentioned that too. But Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office.
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to say this, but word is that Chief Prosecutor Scott killed him out there at the parking lot. Called him out there to the parking lot.
Wait, so they said that the murder happened in the prosecutor's office and not in the parking lot?
No, it happened in the parking lot, which is under the prosecutor's office.
And Lana's confessing as such.
Woo! Yup.
He's in a tough spot.
Again.
Well, it all started with the murder of that defense attorney, Hannah.
But Edgeworth was found innocent 3 times!
Listen, pal, there have always been rumors about Edgeworth. Forging evidence, making deals with witnesses. Nothing outright, but there were always whispered rumors.
I'll give you this McWhopper if you can say that you didn't see anything.
I'll give you this Royale with cheese. We'll have a pizza party. Ever since he was accused of murder, no one's whispering. They're practically shouting.
But there's no evidence against him.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth has always had unusually strong ties to department higher-ups. It's only natural that people will be suspicious.
I had no idea he was under the gun.
Anyway, the latest case has started a new rumor. People say the only reason he took this case is because he's aiming for the chief prosecutor position himself.
What?
But I know the truth, pal! Nobody wants to be the one who has to prosecute the chief prosecutor! Mr. Edgeworth is biting the bullet on this one. He's doing this for all of us.
Well, I'm sure it's not phasing him either way. I'm sure he's gonna always do his best. Though then again, he didn't do his best when
We didn't even examine the blue badger.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I want to see him dance. We have to learn the dance. Gumshoe was doing it, it's our turn. I was wondering about that.
What? The Dancing Blue Badger? It's my masterpiece.
Oh, he made it. You made this, Detective Gumshoe?
The chief threw together some designs and I just did my thing, pal.
Nice work.
It's battery powered and it can go anywhere. There's no switch, so it just dances until the batteries die.
Poor Blue Badger.
Fated to dance until he drops.
The battery died.
Whoops. And that's all I know about that. I'm not officially on the case, you know.
Thank you.
Why aren't you handling the case, Detective?
I don't have to handle every fucking case you guys work on.
We met the guy who is... what was his name? The guy in the parking lot.
That'd be Officer Marshall. He was appointed directly by the chief of police.
Officer Marshall? Is he some kind of Wild West sheriff or something?
Nah, Jake Marshall's just a regular officer. From West L.A.
For a moment there, I wasn't sure.
Look, pal, let me try to make things a little easier for you. Show them this, and they'll let you examine the crime scene. Maybe.
Letter of introduction. I'll be surprised if this gets us anywhere.
Just act like you're supposed to be there and nobody will look at you twice, pal.
Will they look at me twice if they already looked at me once?
No, they will not.
Just like high school.
February 22nd, prosecutor's office. Underground parking lot.
Looks like the investigation is still going.
I don't know who this is. Oh, it's just her again? Oh, still here? Ah, hello. Why those surprised looks? Did I mention I've got a boyfriend in criminal affairs too?
What happened to the security guard?
Hey, what's wrong, Bambina? You're looking like a doggy that's lost its herd.
Jake Marshall. Strange guy to put in charge of a crime scene. Could you stop shaving?
No.
If you look closely, he actually does cut off some hair.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Good for him, I guess. Here, you want another knife?
You want to do the other side?
Alright, compadre, count to 3.
Huh?
You gotta do that if you're going to draw evidence on someone. That's what we do in Texas.
We're in LA. No, sorry, we're in San Francisco.
Yeah, we're in San Francisco.
Remind me never to visit Texas.
We gotta show him the letter of intro, so that he'll let us fucking investigate.
Would you mind reading this for me?
What's this? I warn you, fan letters to me go right into the spittoon.
Well, good thing it's a note of introduction. Damn it, why'd you gotta fucking mess with me, Nick?
It's a letter!
It's a note of introduction from Detective Gumshoe. May we investigate?
Gumshoe? Ah, that old cow dog.
Yes, the old cow dog that actually, he actually seniors you.
He's holding a
Outranks
birthday-
you, there we go.
You holding a birthday party or something?
Huh?
Look, where it should say letter of introduction, it says invitation.
Oh my god.
Damn it.
I think he just miswrote it. Great, Detective Gumshoe, I owe you one.
No worries. This proves it's from Detective Gumshoe. Better than a blood test. He's as dumb as a fucking stump. Guess I better let you in then.
Thank you, Officer Marshall.
Officer Marshall isn't a detective, he's a patrolman.
He'll never make detective at this rate.
Especially if he keeps on shaving.
Leaving more evidence?
No,
false
not even
evidence?
No, it's not even leaving evidence. He's just contaminating the crime scene.
Yeah.
That reminds me of something.
That is odd. Isn't a crime scene supposed to be handled by a detective or higher?
Yes, exactly.
Well, folks,
You caught me.
clues are called. Welcome to our gold strike. Be like the settler. Strike out for lands unknown. Manifest destiny. Let's have a hootenanny!
Note to self. Police investigations are like settling land. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say?
I say, I won't be needing this anymore.
Haha, now I can tell you no, there's no proof.
What do you think about my badge? I see your badge. Looks pretty round. Oh god.
Our badge is a star.
Ooh, that looks
star,
cool.
Shining in the nighttime sky.
I'm jelly.
A beam of light, illuminating evildoers who come into the dark night.
Note to self. Evildoers are weak against starlight.
Hey, that's a sheriff's badge. Man,
bought
why does mine look like a freaking fruitcake?
I bought mine at Party City, just like I did my outfit.
Officer Marshall, could you tell us more about the victim?
No. Good men always die young. Remember that part.
I feel like I'm never gonna get anything good out of him. Could you be a little bit more specific?
Bruce Goodman. He was a detective, right?
Well, aren't you a feisty little dog?
Oh
yet?
wait, I guess he means that he was a very recent detective.
Detective Goodman was stabbed here at 5:15. The smiling Madonna told me the tale.
I think he means the witness, Miss Angel Starr.
One stab to the chest, a fine piece of work. This here's the autopsy report.
Couldn't have done it better myself.
And I'll make sure to update it while you're trying to prove something in court.
Was my sister involved with the victim in any way?
Funny you should mention that, Bambino. Chief Prospector Spy and Detective Goodman had nothing in common at all. So I literally could have just said no.
Nothing in common?
They apparently worked together on a case a few years back.
So there's no motive.
I just wanted to know what it would feel like.
Goodman wasn't a particularly gifted detective. That's one reason why he didn't do much work with the Chief Prospector.
But my sister called the victim here on the day of the murder, right? Here, to this parking lot?
So it seems.
Oh, sorry, let me make it more accurate.
Just like it's calling an unarmed man to the shootout at high noon.
I don't mean any offense, but Officer Marshall, you're a patrolman, right? Not a detective?
Call me out. They shoot you for that in Texas.
Good thing we're in San Francisco. Huh?
I was one of them fancy shooting detectives till 2 years ago, to tell you the truth.
Oh, really? Now he tells me.
But you're a patrolman now, so how can you be in charge of a crime scene?
Nothing gets by you, does it, Bambina?
So why are you in charge?
No reason. We're just short on hands right now. I'm keeping an eye out in the meantime.
That's odd, though. Detective Gumshoe was saying he had nothing to do. Nothing important, at least.
He's nothing but a sad old cow dog that can't find his tail. Maybe it's because he runs with that Edgeworth, eh?
Edgeworth?
That cow dog's been kicked out of the cattle run by order of the chief of police.
Wait, what?
Just he don't realize it yet.
Detective Gumshoe kicked out of the investigation? And I'm pretty sure he does realize it.
Yeah.
We showed him the knife, right?
I don't know.
I'm kind of curious about what he thinks of this.
Alright, compadre, count to 3. We've done this already.
I do want to check it, though.
There's nothing we can check. It's just a picture.
Name of deceased, Bruce Goodman, 36 male, date and time of death, February 21st between 4 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Cause of death, loss of blood from the chest wound. Assessment, wound was caused by a 12-centimeter knife. A single stab wound was found.
Actually, what do you think about this?
The toy shield suits the boy well. What exactly could you shield with that? A toy knife, maybe?
Officer Marshall, don't you have anything good to say about Mr. Edgeworth?
You don't like him, right? We get the point.
You know, when I was a detective, I got one of these.
What do you got? You have a king for a king of detectives on it?
Hey, they could use the same shield over and over.
Note to self, the prosecutor's office and criminal affairs are surprisingly cheap.
You know it. They've gotten cheaper with every passing year, I'll tell you.
What?
About 12 p.m. Prospector's bright red steed came in at a trot real slow blind.
A trot?
My Madonna tells me the crime occurred 3 minutes later. So it seems the chief prospector was lying in wait. Maybe waiting for Prince to ride in on his bright red horse.
So what you mean is, the killer intended to use Edgeworth's car all along. What was this, the autopsy?
Yeah.
Talk to him about that.
Nope.
Okay.
I think we can end it for right now. Maybe next time we'll investigate the crime scene. If you liked the video, like it, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and hit that bell if you want to see the next episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney as soon as it comes out. Check them in the iCard for the other games that we're currently playing. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter, join our Discord server, and donate to the channel if you can. The links to all those things are in the description below. Question of the day.
What? Okay, fine. What type of knife? What type of knife? What type of knife do you carry around with you? Or like, what type of knife do you? I guess what's your favorite knife? I guess is a better thing to ask and less incriminating.
And secondary question. If you could dress up as anything while also being a police officer as your job, and have you be able to dress up at the job, what would you dress up as?
Oh, ever since Spider-Man, I would have always done Spider Cop.
Oh, dude, yes.
I would love to do Spider Cop.
Put that shit in the comments below. I'm Bottles.
I'm Mori.
See you next time.
Spider Cop. 2 crystals and too old for this shit, but gets the job done, no matter how loose he is with the law.
Continue.